Darksiders. Hey Darksiders, so I know I'm late to the party, but I do want to get into this whole thing going on with Scott Derrickson leaving the director's chair for Doctor Strange 2 because he did such a wonderful job in Doctor Strange 1, and I was really excited about this movie as well because I'm a big Doctor Strange fan, been so ever since a kid. Oh, by the way, if my voice sounds funny or if I start to sound like that, it's because I switched my Invisalign trays and my voice always sounds bad or my speech is always bad once I switch the trays. I just felt like I needed to give you that explanation if you're wondering, well, what's wrong with the brother? Is he having a stroke? No, it is the Invisalign tray. So let's get into all that's going on here. So the first question is, and this is my question to you, what do you think is really going on here? Now, it's cited that Dickerson left for creative differences, and one of the big things flowing around the internet and social media is that he left because of the tone or the direction of the film, and he had more of a horror notion in mind, and Disney kind of walked away from that, and Feige did walk away from that. He stepped back from that as well, saying no, it's not really going to have a horror theme, and it sounds like that's something that Dickerson wanted to have more of. Now check this out. So the rumor is that we might be getting the introduction of Mephisto into the MCU in Doctor Strange 2. Now, if that is the case, I can understand how Dickerson would want to have this movie with much more of a horror slant to it, given who Mephisto is. So I just wanted to throw that in there for your consideration. That might be part of why Dickerson wanted to take the film in that direction. Just putting that out there for you. Now, my first question is about that. That's weird to me. Like, I'm not really sure why this is the deal breaker, and I don't know if Dickerson wanted to kind of just take this into a darker direction and he wasn't going to be able to do that, and that's why he walked. I don't think it's necessary for Strange to have that type of tone or feel. I don't think we had that in 1, and the film was hugely successful. I very much enjoyed it visually, and it was awesome because it was the first time that we actually got magic, like legit, in the MCU. You could argue that you got a little bit of it in Thor, but I mean legit, like straight magic from Doctor Strange. So I was super impressed with the first movie. And I don't think that you need to necessarily have a horror feel or tone for it to be successful. But here's something interesting though. If it is the case that Disney wants to back away from that because it's not necessarily suitable for the Disney audience and kids that would necessarily maybe not enjoy the film as much. It is an interesting dilemma, right? Because people have talked about this and now you can kind of see it coming to the forefront. It is an issue with Disney owning the Marvel properties in that they can only do so much in terms of the tone and feel and what direction they move with towards the movie because they do have a certain brand and they do have a certain audience that they really cater to. It's really interesting because you know what it made me think about? It made me think about Logan and how much of us enjoyed Logan. There's no way in the world if Disney had owned the X-Men properties at that time, they could have made that movie. It couldn't have happened. It just would have been a violation of the type of movies that they make. So I bring that example up to say that there could be future issues with how Disney makes Marvel movies in the sense that they can only go so dark. And that could affect them in the future. I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. And do you think that this is the problem that we might see later on with Disney movies in terms of how dark of a tone or how we can move in certain directions because we're under the Disney banner and we just can't? That's number one. Also, do you think it's an issue of the connection between the shows on Disney Plus, which Feige did say there's going to be a connection between the Marvel shows and the movies, and the fact that maybe Doctor Strange was not incorporating enough of a connection between WandaVision, which we know is coming out on Disney Plus, and there's a connection between that and the Doctor Strange movies, as we know that the Scarlet Witch, is going to be in Doctor Strange 2. Man, listen, let me tell you something about the Scarlet Witch. They better utilize her because they played her down when we've seen her in the movie so far, and she's a cold beast. I mean, her power profile is a beast, and they nerfed her seriously in the movies. We really need to see more of what she can do in the upcoming film. So those are the two really real big arguments about why Dickerson left. It's weird to me also that he's staying on as EP, executive producer, though he's not going to be directing the film. And I know the position of executive producer is not the same as director, but they do have some say in kind of the artistic vision of the film. So to me, I don't know, it's strange to me that he's staying on as EP. If you think it's not strange, then let me know why you feel that way. Here's what I think about directing this movie and if he has to do it. I don't think he has to do it. And I'm curious to know who else you would put in the director's chair. I think that there are some folks out there that could actually really do a good job with this. This is going to sound totally weird. I'm just going to say it, man. I'm just going to say it and let you guys tell me what you think about this. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Abrams direct this movie. Now, I haven't heard any talk about it or anything like that, but I would like to see what he could do with a Doctor Strange property. So I do think that there are some other folks that could direct this film, and it could come across as successful. Now, here's the one thing I will say that could be problematic about that, and that is a disruption of consistency and tone within the films, because certainly Doctor Strange 1 had a good, consistent feel and tone, and it's something that a lot of us are used to or hope to see carry over in the rest of the Doctor Strange movies, which I think is important. And I do think that you run the risk of probably offending some of the fans or messing up the possible franchise if you don't get that tone right. So that is a risk you take if you have a different director in the director's seat. Kind of feel the same way, right, about Guardians of the Galaxy. If you have someone else different in the seat, it could mess up the tone of it. So that's something to think about as well. But who do you think would be someone to replace Dickerson in the director's seat? I'm just curious to know who you guys would like to see do that and who you think would do it well. So those are my thoughts about what's going on with Dickerson and the whole not directing Doctor Strange 2. I think that they will figure it out, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I hadn't heard anything, maybe you have. I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up directing this film. If they end up working it out, it would not surprise me at all. So, what do you think about it? Are you guys nervous about it? Does it make you upset? Are you thinking, oh, it's not that big of a deal? Let me know what your thoughts are. Also, make sure you check out that video right there. I keep pointing to that video, you guys, because it's still hugely popular. Superman versus Homelander, and there's a whole bunch of heat in the comments over there. I'll meet you there. Peace.